Hello ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the 250 subscribers special. Now I've already done some skits for the 100 and 200 and I just thought I'd go for something different and actually be like subscriber interactive sort of thing. And also thank you so fucking much everyone, it means the absolute world to me, I swear down. So here we go, we're going to start with the actual Q&A. This is going to be very off the cuff and not unscripted or anything, so if I come across like the biggest knobhead here, you know, I'm sorry about it. So we're going to begin. I have a list here of questions which you people have asked and now I'm going to answer them. Okay, here we go. So number one, what are your biggest guilty pleasure games? This was asked by Paul Derbyshire or Pablo. I'll pull his information up on the screen here. Now, to be honest, by far my biggest guilty pleasure game is actually FIFA, if you can believe it or not. I mean, I absolutely love football, you know, I've got an Everton tattoo and Everton, you know, I really love football all my life. And I think the FIFA, very similar to a lot of online shooters, is like the gaming version of like trash TV or like binge watching, you know what I mean? So it's like my trash TV game and I can just sit there and completely zone out and play it. I mean, I'm actually going to do an episode on FIFA at some point because I've got like some crazy stories to tell about that game, but overall, man, that is my biggest guilty pleasure game. My brother-in-law Andrew asked me if Mario and Luigi were to get an STD, what would it be and who would it be from? Now, I'm going to go out on a limb and say no one in the Super Mario Bros. Universe has got a terminal illness, so let's just say they have crabs. As for who it's from, I think it's inadvertently from Peach, or potentially Daisy. These two are consistently taken by Bowser, and I use that word lightly, and spend a lot of lonely nights in his castle. He's also known to spend a lot of time with Mushroom Men. When Peach is rescued, a celebration ensues. Now you may be wondering how Mario and Luigi both get this disease. Well, anybody on this game knows, we're all players. You never know, maybe Yoshi's the one fed up of getting rode all the time. Ryan Worrell has asked me what is the most epic cinematic from any game. Now this is such a hard question to answer. The bike scene when you first leave in Midgar in Final Fantasy VII comes to mind. There's so many throughout the Uncharted series. Abe's Odd World when you first see Rupture Farms. Do you know, oh, that pan is just lovely. There's a hell of a lot of games like that. Some of the stuff in the new Tomb Raider games are incredible as well. Metal Gear Solid. That's a really good one. When you first see the ninja in Metal Gear Solid, that is literally like this close. But my personal favourite ever is Tekken 2, the opening cinematic. It is just incredible. That along with the music is just incredible, and there's nothing that makes me want to play. You know, like when I see all that from all these other games, it really makes me want to play the games. But when I see that one from Tekken 2, I'm fucking there. I'm like, I'm gonna play that beast right now. So that is it, in my opinion. I'm probably gonna change my mind, but that's it for now. All right. Nice one for the question, Ryan lad. Now, his and her Let's Play wants to know a game that I don't love but everybody else seems to absolutely adore. Now I thought about this for a while and to be honest it's probably either Dead Space or Batman Arkham Asylum. Now I know it's blasphemy, everyone's going to be fuming, but I mean I love Batman, don't get me wrong, but I started playing it and there was something about the controls I just couldn't get into, and basically at the time I had Dead Space for the PS3, Batman Arkham Asylum and The Last of Us, and I think more than anything I was just dying to play Last of Us, and I played the other two for about an hour or two and I just couldn't get into it, and I was like, you know what, screw this, and I've never went back to them. Maybe that will all change, maybe this will be the catalyst and I will go into it and start to love them games again, you never know. Thanks very much for the question, mate. And he also asked me, what is your favourite multiplayer game memory? Now, I don't really want to give too much away because this is all for future episodes and stuff like that, but it would either be from RuneScape, which took a massive portion of my life, or it would be from Call of Duty for Modern Warfare. I'll tell you one, me and my mate Mike Taylor years ago, this isn't my favourite one but this is one that comes to mind. Years ago we used to play Warcraft 3, which I absolutely loved that game, and we'd play on a computer downstairs in my ma's house and on one upstairs. And he was on the one downstairs and we'd just like run up and downstairs and just check on each other, see what we were doing, blah blah blah. And I came downstairs this one point and it was like psycho, I swear. Mike just talked to me, he's like, oh yeah, I'm just going night owls, blah blah blah. And then out of the corner of like my peripheral vision, I just saw me cat Ebony, I just saw her claw just appear like this and just get me, and I was like, fucking hell, like that, and Mike was just bursting out laughing. So it's not really a multiplayer memory, but there you go, that's what you're getting, mate. You know, rest in peace Ebony, that was a great moment. So a few people asked me this, Retro Game Rater in particular, and they want to know what is my favourite game of all time. I've made it known many a time that it's Final Fantasy VII. This game changed my life, and it made me realise that games can be so much more than just moving left or right, like on Mario. They can really be like art, and they can have such an emotional connection to you. And the music on that game alone, I swear to God, I hear that music nowadays and I'm on the verge of tears. It brings me right back to sitting on the couch when I was a young lad, just playing that beast. Everything about it. I'm gonna do a review on it one day, but that's all you need to know right now. By far my favourite game ever, and I think the best game ever made as well. Kate, or better known as Espra Dreams on Twitter, asked me who is my favourite game character of all time. Now this is a really tough question to answer, because you know, it's one of those, a lot of people would say, you know, particular mascots like Sonic or Mario or something like that, but then again I've just said, you know, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, realistically he's probably my favourite all time, but then Abe from Abe's Odd World is really close as well. Overall, I think I've got to say Cloud. It's got to be Cloud Strife. He is the image of Final Fantasy VII. He's everything about that game, so it's got to be him. Sephiroth is very close behind him as well, to be perfectly honest. Crash Bandicoot gets a mention as well. Love Crash, what a guy. So Kate also asked me what would be my favourite original soundtrack and a game I'd love to return and, you know, be remastered sort of thing. Now, I'm going to tell you the game I'd love to be remastered, and that is Time Splitters 2. Well, it's either Time Splitters 2 or the Lord of the Rings games for the PS2. Both of those games, I think, more than any other, deserve a remaster, and mainly just for the co-op play, because it's some of my happiest memory from the PlayStation 2. So that's that answer, full on, full stop, you know. And in terms of the OST, honestly, it's very tough to choose. Again, Final Fantasy VII is most likely the answer, but just to mix things up a little bit, I'm going to say Final Fantasy X. Tekken 2 is also really close, some beautiful music in that game, and Golden Axe, and Streets of Rage. Oh God, there's too many, but I'm going to say Final Fantasy X. That Besaid Island music is just, it's really special to me, and to me, really takes me right back to my youth. I can't even begin to explain it. So once again, a few people would like to know what's the first game I ever played. These people were Retro Game Rater, Gary McCowan, and Pip Johnson. So it's most likely a SNES game, because that's the first console I ever had. When I was brought into this world, there was a SNES right next to me, you know what I mean? So it was either Super Mario World, which I do remember playing when I was younger, but my full-on most early memory is Street Fighter 2. Now, I just remember sitting on my brother's bed, just staring at this thing and being absolutely mesmerised by it. I'm pretty confident that Ryu and Blanka were fighting, but mate, what a game that was, genuinely. So it was definitely either that or Super Mario World. It's one or the other, you know what I mean? Thanks for the question, guys. Free Radical Dave and My Name is Dan have both asked me, what is my biggest collection desires? So they've asked for a game, a console and merchandise. Now, in terms of a game, that one's really difficult to answer because there's a hell of a lot of them. But I would really love to have Snatcher for the Sega CD. That's a game which I just don't think I'm ever actually going to get, to be honest, because it's quite, well, it's really friggin' expensive, but I'd love to have that game, to be perfectly honest. Merchandise, I can answer it right away. It's the Final Fantasy VII vinyl OST. Now, I remember this coming out, and I was so unbelievably skint when it first came out. I just could not get it. There was no possible way. And a few years ago, like maybe 5 years ago, I got the opportunity to get it on eBay, and it was about £90, and I was literally like this. I was like, I'm gonna buy this beast. I didn't get it again. I was too skint, couldn't do it, and now I see this beast going for like 100 quid, 200 quid. It breaks my heart. But that's my biggest merchandise I'd like. And in terms of console, it's got to be the Vectrex. It's in the last video and in the one before that, but I'd love to have a Vectrex, you know. There's something about those graphics. Even when I first started collecting, I remember watching Classic Game Room, that's what it was. I remember watching Classic Game Room, and they were talking about it, and it totally mesmerised me, and I want to get that and Berserk. That would be a hell of a purchase. Maybe one day, you never know. So my name is Dan, and I'd just like to give this guy a little shout in particular here. Dan's a graphic designer, and he made some PlayStation 1 variants of PS4 games, for the covers sorry, and he was kind enough to actually donate some of them to me. I'm going to show them up here. These are brilliant, and mate, just on a personal level, I'm so grateful, honestly, thank you so much, mate. But anyway, he asked me a really good question. If I could take one game character to the pictures, what would it see and who would it be? Now, it's a tough situation. You can't take someone like Crash Bandicoot because they're going to go nuts, there'll be popcorn everywhere, and I work in a cinema as well, and I don't want to have to clean that up, you know what I mean? I could take Cloud, but he's a depressing guy. I love him, but he's a depressing guy. Honestly, I think it would be a character, right, who's in a proper heavy circumstance. Give them a fucking break. I'd take Joel and Ellie, and you know what, I'd watch something proper fun with them. What would we watch? Again, maybe nothing too heavy. Then again, Joel want like a proper sick movie. Gonna go low key, right? We're going and watch like Spirited Away or something like that. You know what I mean? Like something not too intense, but something just enjoyable. I think they'd appreciate that. You know what I mean? Go on, that's what I'm going for. I'm gonna take fucking Joel and Ellie. We're gonna go and watch Spirited Away, and it's gonna be sick. That's what's gonna happen. Red Retro asked me which game character is most comparable to mine. So basically, which game character am I most like? Honestly, I think I'm quite a cheeky bastard, to be perfectly honest. So, although I've got to say, I couldn't do any of the feats that he's doing. I'm alright at climbing, but not like this motherfucker. It's probably gonna have to be Nathan Drake from the Uncharted series. Like I said, he's a really cheeky bastard, and so am I. Probably Nathan Drake, right? With a bit of Cloud's emo characteristics. Put them two together and you've got me, like, you know what I mean? Video Game Tats on Instagram asked me what is my prediction for the derby score. Now, obviously I'm an Evertonian, and Liverpool and Everton are playing very soon. I don't want to go too much into footy right now, but I'm going to go with a draw. I'm going to be optimistic. We're either going to get absolutely fucking murdered by them, or it's going to be a draw, I'd say. Probably like a 1-1 or something like that. Pretty boring game, some decent tackles. I can handle that. JJ Chris was asking me, when are we going to get a true and modern day remake of GoldenEye? Well, mate, I can't answer that question. I hope we do, so that you're happy. But I actually don't have that many memories with that. I never had it N64 growing up, so I don't know. I actually quite like the PS2 game as well, which I know is blasphemy, but I grew up with that beast, so there you go. But lad, I hope you get it tomorrow. I hope they announce it. I hope this is the fucking announcement video. Another lad from Instagram, Joe Teach, local lad, does a lot of chiptune stuff. Something I'd love to do a video on one day, you know, you never know, maybe I will. He asked me what's my favourite individual song from a game. Now, there's a lot of songs which I try my best not to use the same songs over and over again in the videos, but there's particular ones which I really love. So Besaid, like I said earlier, from Final Fantasy X is right up there. Heading Our Way from Final Fantasy VII, really up there. The opening first level music from Crash Bandicoot 2, that's one of my favourites as well. Almost Anything from Abe's Odyssey. But to be honest, it might be something like Michelle's stage from Tekken 2. That's one of those tunes where you put it on and it just gets you so in the mood to play that game every single time. I think that's one of those perfect songs from that game. So I'm going to go with Michelle's tune right now because I've used all Final Fantasy for everything else. Great Charleston from Twitter asked me, basically, have you ever played Xenosaga? And basically, I haven't. I'm really sorry, I just haven't had the opportunity to. Maybe I will at some point. Maybe I'll do it on your recommendation, mate. He also asked me, what the fuck did he ask me? He asked me who my favourite character designer is as well. Honestly, it's probably Akira Toriyama. He did everything from Dragon Ball Z, which is one of my favourite things in the whole world. Like, that's a whole episode in itself. That's a whole series of episodes in itself. Like, seriously. But he did a lot for Chrono Trigger as well, which is one of my favourite games as well. So, Akira Toriyama, just in general, one of my favourite character designers and maybe the best ever. Retro Jonesy on Twitter asked me another question, and he said, which game would you like to play again for the first time? Joe, if you could experience it all for the first time over? That is a tough question. It's a really tough question because there's certain games which you don't need to experience for the first time over again. And sometimes you play a game, you don't really get it. You know, sometimes there's games which I love, like absolutely love, which I didn't really like that much the first time. Like Fallout 3, for instance, one of my top 5 games of all time. When I first play it, I didn't really get it, and I had to give myself a second chance to really get into it. But overall, Abe's Oddworld is up there. Abe's Oddworld is really high on that list. It's a really tough question, but to be honest, I can't lie. It's Final Fantasy 7. Ooh, actually, it's either Final Fantasy 7 or Metal Gear Solid, flat out. Either of those two on the PS1. 2 of my favourite games of all time. 1 is my favourite game of all time. But they're 2 brilliant games, and just to experience that for the first time again would be absolutely outrageous. So there's your answer, mate. So I was asked by my brother Keith and by Kiss Me Alien Boy on Instagram, what was your favourite game growing up? Now, Final Fantasy 7's always been my favourite game, well, ever since I first played it. But I'm going to try and do it like basically bit by bit, console by console. So on the SNES, it's a very difficult question, but overall it's probably Street Fighter 2. The music's just insane and it just keeps bringing me back. Super Mario All-Stars is really close though as well. PlayStation 1, Final Fantasy 7. PlayStation 2, really difficult question, but it's either Final Fantasy 10 or Metal Gear Solid 2. It's definitely one of those. So Tekken 4 is really close as well. GameCube, it's Smash Brothers. I don't want to do every single console, but I'm just thinking of big games that I've loved over my life. In the PS3, The Last of Us, Fallout 3. Xbox, Gears of War 1, incredible game. Castle Crashed as well, another brilliant game. And then leading up now to the PlayStation 4, honestly, Uncharted 4 is just incredible. It's one of my favourite games I've ever played, genuinely. But RPGs is probably the best way to say it. I know I've just said a load of different games then, but overall it's usually RPGs and now Uncharted. Okay, so that's that. Also, Warcraft 3 needs to get a mention. I love Warcraft 3, amazing game. It's meant to be getting a remaster, I really hope it does. Now, here's the question which I thought I was going to get like 20 times over, and only one person asked me it. Good mate Dan Ferguson, got to know him when I worked in a retro game shop, and I've got him at Everton. Hello Dan. He asked me, what is the reason that you got into collecting for? Basically, why did you start collecting games? As you can see behind me, I've got a hell of a lot now, but this is a period of like 7 years or so. Basically what happened is, you know, I was always quite skint growing up sort of thing, and I'd never get in it in day one. And I'm not ungrateful for that at all. You know, I would never change a thing, ever. But basically what happened is, I just keep hold of all my old stuff, just as much as I could. And it got to a point where I had my old Sega Mega Drive, and my brother had my old games. Got the games back off him, got the Mega Drive. This is when I was maybe in my last year of year 11, because I was still playing old games. I'd still, you know, whip out the PS1, PS2, Smash Tekken 4 and all that. But yeah, I just pulled out the Mega Drive one day and it broke. It was dead. That was the end of it. So I was like, right, I need to get another one. Went on eBay, got really badly ripped off, and I've never got rid of this Mega Drive either. I really need to get another console itself because this one's ridiculous. The power on it just breaks 24/7. But I paid like £60 odd, and all I got was like Mario. No, fucking hell, I got Mario with the Mega Drive. All I got was Sonic 2 of it, and I paid like 60 quid. And then I just started remembering like, oh, well, what about if we got this game that I really wanted? What about this game? And blah blah blah. It just kept going on and on. And then I basically got to this point where I was like, well, I've got a lot of the games that I loved when I was younger, and you know, you're always chasing them. There's always something that you can't have that you played when you're younger just because you haven't seen it at this point, or because you're skint, you know what I mean? But one of the big reasons why, in all honesty, it's if I ever have kids one day, and I've got like a little nephew as well, I can just say to them, come on, go and pick a game, we're going to go and play it. And they can have more selection than I ever had in my fucking I could ever dream of when I was a kid, you know what I mean? Basically, it's fulfilling your childhood memories and hopefully fulfilling your future children's memories, you know what I mean? But yeah, that's why I collect, and I absolutely love them. They're pieces of art. I think it's the greatest form of art because it's interactive art. You know, you can go and see a band, but you can't go up and play with them. Well, 99% of people can't anyway. Sean Smith has asked me a good question as well. He's asked me if I could have any video game character as a pet, who would it be? Now, I'm not going to have Blanca. You know what, actually, why would I even mention Blanca? Again, he's not an animal. Man's a sentient being. He chooses to street fight. You know what I'm saying? That man goes out there and electrocutes motherfuckers, and that's how it happens. So anyway, yeah, I wouldn't have fucking Blanca. Crash again would just fucking mess everything up. He's a nightmare. I like a Chocobo, or Chocobo, however you want to say it. I really like one of them. In all honesty, that would be it. I could ride that beast to work. I could do anything with it. You know, I could have a golden Chocobo. I could do anything. I could go up mountains. I could do whatever I want. Gotta be a Chocobo all day. Pip Johnson asked me, what is my most favourite underrated game? Now, there are quite a few that spring to mind, but the one I'm going to mention right now is The Godfather on PS2. I am going to do a review on this game in the future, because that game is brilliant and it never gets talked about. It's probably one of the most underrated games of all time. It's a fantastic game. Andrew Shields has a really good question. If I could choose any music from any band to be in any game, what would it be? Genuinely, it would be any album by the Beatles in Fallout 3 and Fallout 4 and blah, blah, blah. I just want them in it, you know. They're a brilliant band. I know in the whole storyline of it all, they wouldn't have existed and blah, blah, blah. I don't care about any of that. I want the Beatles in it. I want a lot of really famous, brilliant musicians like that to be in that game, because I always listen to the music. I love the music on it anyway, so I don't know, maybe you need to be careful what you wish for, but I'd like them to be in it anyway. So, thanks for the question, mate. Simon Chandler has asked me if I'd help him find some Dragon Balls. Bet your sweet ass will. But he also asked me, what open world game would I like to live in most? It's a tough question. Obviously, it is a tough question. See, the problem with most open world games is that they're usually a nightmare. You know, it's like Fallout. It's like I'd like to live there, but at the same time, it's like I don't want to get fucking smashed by super mutants or something like that. I'd love to be in like the new Tomb Raider game, for instance. But again, I don't want to be like standing on a nail and fucking dying of some fucking disease or some shit. So it's a really tough situation. Actually, I've got the answer. The Legend of Zelda Breath of the Wild. I know there's dangers in that one, but that's one of my favourite games of all time, and it's just such a beautiful game. Yeah, man, Breath of the Wild. That's where I want to live, 100%. Alan Davenport has asked me, what is the most you've ever spent on a gaming item, and which one is your favourite? So I've always been quite thrifty, to be honest, and I've never spent like big money on anything in my collection. The most I've actually ever spent on any game thing was my Wii U, and I got that for £135, and I got a really good deal. Basically, I'd been through a bad breakup at the time, and I got that to like keep me sanity, and it was a really good deal at the time, and I got some great games. So honestly, it's one of my favourite game items as well, so there you go. But other than that, on an individual cartridge or something, it's probably Final Fantasy 3 or, you know, Final Fantasy 6. One of my exes got it for me for Christmas, and I believe she got it for £55. But yeah, honestly, that's it. I've never really spent more than what a brand new game cost, basically. Now, my favourite item in my whole collection, it's probably my Extra Knight Cloud figure, to be honest. I used to looking at her magazines over and over again when I was younger, and yeah, I always wanted it. I'll go more into that story at another point, but it might be that. It's either that or one of my original games when I was younger, to be perfectly honest. Alan also wants to know what my girlfriend's opinion was on my collection. I'll just give you like a quick overall thing on this with relationships in general, because over the time, like I said, I've been collecting like 7 years, so I've had a few different girlfriends and stuff over that time. Some of them fucking love it, and they love games and shit, and they're just totally into it. They don't know, you know, a lot of the time, unless you're absolutely fanatic about something, you don't know everything about it, and I don't fucking know everything about anything, but they're just as enthusiastic as I am. I have had girlfriends that are a bit like, okay, you bought another game, next. You know, like basically whatever you want, as into it pretty much. But my current girlfriend, Catherine, she's so supportive. I wouldn't have this channel if it wasn't for her. I was using her original camera. She taught me how to edit. Well, basically all the basics of editing. I'd never done anything like that before at all before I started this. And basically without her, I wouldn't even have the channel. So I think that says everything. Thank you very much, Catherine, genuinely. Charlie Green has asked me, when am I finally going to complete Final Fantasy 9? Well, Charlie, I'm wearing a t-shirt, as you can see, my friend. This is actually an original Final Fantasy 9 promotional t-shirt, and it has Squaresoft on the arm. I don't know if you can see that. I fucking love this t-shirt. I got it for a bargain, like 15 quid. Love eBay. Charlie, I've played it over and over again. I just haven't completed it. The time will come, my friend. The time will come. And also, I should do a special mention right now. Charlie, thank you very much, mate. You were another massive influence on me starting this channel, and Charlie actually came over and helped me film at one point as well. So Charlie, thank you so much, mate. I really appreciate it, lad. Richard Brown from Facebook has asked me, would I ever consider doing my own retro game shop? The reason he's asked me this is because Richard actually invited me out to Dublin to come and film his retro game shop that he's opening, which I'm genuinely considering, by the way, Richard. So yeah, mate, I'm looking forward to that, genuinely. That would be great. In all honesty, lad, I actually was 100% considering doing my own. It was my ambition at one point. I worked in a retro game shop for about a year and a half, and you know, the overall goal from my end was that I was potentially going to take over the shop and, you know, have the baton passed on to me. But you know, everything happens for a reason, doesn't it? And then I was considering doing my own one afterwards. But in all honesty, it's a struggle. Living that life and working like that, it's brilliant and it brings you nothing but happiness, but you need to be 100% dedicated to it without anything else. And you need to be completely involved in the business, and that's it, just solely basically. And you've got to accept that more than most likely you're going to be on minimum wage the majority of your life. And when you're considering having a family and moving out into your own place and X, Y, and Z, it's a difficult thing. And I already struggled living that type of lifestyle for about a year and a half, and I've got those memories for the rest of my life. Don't get me wrong, if a retro game shop turned around tomorrow and you're like, we can offer you a decent wage, I love where I work at the moment, but I would genuinely take up that offer 100%, obviously. I loved it. I met some beautiful people there. I met mates that I'll have for the rest of my life, and a lot of yous have ended up subscribed to me on YouTube, and I'm so grateful. Honestly, it means the absolute world to me. But I think that time has passed, and I don't think it's something I will pursue right now, but I definitely work on one again, let me tell you, lad. Okay everyone, so that's the end of the 250 subscriber Q&A. I know it was a long video, but I really tried my best not to make it boring, tried to edit in some fun stuff there. Thank you all for the questions so much, and you know what, genuinely, I say it all the fucking time, but just the fact that anybody watches these videos, let alone would want to actually interact with me and know my opinions about anything, it really means the fucking world to me. And I just want to give you a massive thank you. Seriously, thank you all so much for subscribing, for continuing watching, and just for supporting me. It really means the absolute fucking world to me. Thank you. In particular, and speaking to all yous on Twitter, you all know who you are, because I tag you in fucking everything that I put up. Yous are an absolute belter. Thank you all so much, guys. I've got everyone on Facebook who's amazing, and Instagram as well, but I know a lot of them personally, but all yous on Twitter, a lot of you guys I've never even met before, so seriously, thank you, genuinely. And thank all my family and everybody. I know, like, I never know if I'm even going to get any more subscribers or what's going to happen, but right now, I'm really happy and I'm really grateful. Thank you all so much. I really hope you enjoyed the video. I'm going to have another one soon. See ya. Peace. Fucking hell. Shit, gotta redo that whole fucking thing.